Morning, everybody. Oh, too loud. Let's turn that volume down. All right. Let's see here. Make sure that we got a little test on everything. Everything looks good. Gonna go ahead and shut that down. Perfect. All right. Day 2 back in the office after surgery. I gotta tell you, man, yesterday sucked. It was rough. Feeling good today, though. So what we're going to do is we're going to call some expired leads. Now, these are folks that have been on the market, were in a agreement with an agent to sell their home, and the agent or the house, or, I guess we don't need to assign blame, but we'll just say the agent wasn't able to get them across the finish line. They didn't accomplish their goal. OBS over here on this screen. And we're going to go into, got 42 new expireds on the market today. Not a ton, but when you consider that only 10 new houses went on the market and looks like 3 went under contract as of this morning, that's dramatic. That's dramatic. That's a pretty significant difference. So looks like we're getting a nice little market shift like we were expecting starting in about summer of last year. Not really seeing the same level of market activity this year, this time, as we normally expect mid-late March. Normally this is kind of like when things start popping off, and man, I need a shave. And it's not happening, but that's okay, because if you're a real estate agent, that can be really scary. If you're in real estate and know how to make deals work, know how to solve sellers' problems, get creative, and think outside the box, then you're straight, man. This is happy-go-lucky time. People ask me all the time, like, how's real estate? Kind of like, I know real estate has changed a lot. Are you doing okay? I'm doing great. This is awesome. This is exactly what everybody plans for. Now, at no detriment to the sellers that obviously need to sell, but what we're here to do is help solve their problems. People still need to sell houses. And when that happens and they're not able to, then they're in trouble. And so it's our job to come in here and see what we can do to make things happen, solve their problems, get them to their goals, and provide some value. And that's where I earn my income, is I provide value to people that are in a hard spot and have a need. We're going to satisfy that need. And most of the time, they're very happy. Almost all of the time, they're very happy to work with us and take some of the options that we put on the table. So starting off, we got this property here in Arlington. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the tax roll, find their name. We're going to look them up. We're going to find some contact information. So for those of you who, looks like they relisted. Did they relist today? Nope, they expired this morning. So for those of you who don't know, we pay good money to have access to tools that allow us to come in here and look up people's contact information. If that makes you uncomfortable, just understand your contact information is something that, as much as you want it to be private, as much as you want it to be untraceable, the last time you ordered pizza online and put in your cell phone number and hit that little I accept terms and agreements, you were giving that Papa John's or whatever it was, whether you're filling out an insurance application online or anything like that, you're giving them permission to sell your data. Most of the time, they sell your data to large companies that then broker it out to all these different data sources, and then we as the consumer of that data, marketing companies, real estate agents, overseas marketers, they buy that information for relatively cheap. It's not always accurate, and so I get a lot of people call me and say, like, hey, you have the wrong number, don't ever call here again, and we don't. We never want to pester anybody, but we're looking for people that, in this case, have a very obvious need. These folks in particular, they were on the market for 179 days. Motivated to sell, dropped the price a little over $20,000 in that time frame, so we're going to call them and see what we can do to help. And see if they answer, first and foremost. Again, I should probably get this to a point where I can just click to call these.
your message for 682.
Okay, so a lot of people, just as a general rule, if you're marketing, you're making phone calls, a lot of people put their phones on Do Not Disturb, which means you have to call twice in order for it to ring, unless their phone's off.
Please leave your message for 6.
Just make sure that that's not the person we're looking for. Try the next record on file. What I'm doing while I'm waiting on them to answer the phone is I'm looking through the pictures, kind of getting a rough idea of what the property looks like. I'm going to go ahead and pull up them on tax roll, get an idea of what's going on, how long ago they bought it, what they bought it for, how much they owe.
Hello, you've reached Michelle, Sanchez Soriano. Please leave your name, number, and a brief message. I will return your call as soon as possible. Thank you and have a good day.
Hi Michelle, my name's Chris Beery. I am calling you about the property there at 2101 Woodhaven Drive. I noticed that you had it on the market and it's showing up as an expired as of this morning. Curious to know if you're still planning on selling that property. I may be your buyer. Either way, I'm interested in seeing what we can do to help. If you don't mind giving me a call back, my phone number is 817-600-2077. Again, 817-600-2077. Thanks, look forward to hearing from you. Bye-bye. All right, so on voicemails where they confirm their name, and that was someone I was looking for, that is untitled. It's not the main person. Looks like that might have been mom to the actual homeowner, but they were co-signer. They bought this property in 2017, got a pretty rockin' price on it. Looks like mom and dad co-signed, and then since then they've done a couple of refinances. So looks like they might be trying to solve some problems on their own, but we'll see. We left them a voicemail. We'll follow up with them later on in the day. I'm just going to go ahead and make a note of the address so I can come back to it, because that's one that I'm pretty sure if they don't call me back, if I get them on the phone, 180 days on market for a house that's in that kind of condition, I'm pretty sure they're trying to sell pretty desperately. So, and again, desperation is not a bad thing. It has a negative connotation. Desperation just means that they have a big problem and they have not found the right person to help them solve it. So that's what we're looking to do. So I like to skip over some of these towns that I don't really have much familiarity in. I like Canton, but I just don't go down there enough to be able to be a professional down there and know what I'm talking about, speak intelligently to it. So again, when we're in the businesses of solving people's problems, we don't want to overextend ourselves and pretend to be something that we're not. If we're not truly an expert in what it is that they're trying to sell, chances are we're not going to be the best fit for them. So even if we make contact with them, most of the time what I'll do is I'll find a partner in that area that is super familiar, that is super experienced in the market that we're looking in, and ask for help. Nothing wrong with asking for help. In fact, if you've got a deal in central DFW and you need help running comps, you need help because you don't know what the cross streets are or where everything important is or where the Piggly Wiggly is and all that kind of stuff, give me a call, and I'm more than happy to walk you through that. If you don't know my phone number, I'll probably say it about 35 times today on this stream. So next one we got, looks like it's a property in Dallas. I'm not crazy about properties in Dallas, but this one was on the market for 20 days and they were advertising it to investors only. Pulling up the tax roll, they sold it. On to the next. We don't spend too much time analyzing these. If they're not immediately showing up as available or they sold it or anything like that, I don't spend too much time trying to track it down. I just get right on the phone. Hold on, gotta check on the trade, make sure that's doing okay. Again, distractions. Oh, FRC. I don't want to make the crash, but when you're going long or short on something like this, you do kind of want it to crash. If you're not paying attention to what's going on in the banks, you should. Crazy stuff. People haven't run the banks like this since the 20s and 30s, so it's been about 100 years. But I am not a financial advisor, so don't listen to me. We'll keep looking through some of these. All right, man, I wonder if I could turn you guys around so you could look at the pictures of this house. This thing is completely demoed. So basically they've got this, what looks to be a full duplex, completely gutted on the market. And it expired this morning. So let's see if we can get in touch with these sellers, make sure they haven't sold it yet. Hey Daniel, morning. All right, PSM Development, let's look them up. If you don't know how to look up LLCs, it's pretty easy. Just go to your states. So in this case, Texas, you're gonna look for the comptrollers, entity search. And sometimes, if you get lucky, and whoever registered their LLC or their corporation was lazy, you'll be able to find a person's direct contact information. So in this case, this person registered their LLC in their personal name on their personal home address. Not wise. Not a good idea. Don't do that. Hire registered agents. If you're going to have an LLC, one of the reasons you have LLCs is for veils. You want to make sure that you keep your stuff protected. Especially because if you don't want to get marketing calls like this one I'm about to make, then I recommend keeping all that stuff under wraps. Not because you're trying to be shady, but just because there are people out there that want to take advantage of you. And if you don't keep yourself protected from them like this, then, you know, I'm a good guy. And that's one of the reasons why I make these calls, is because I'm honest and I'm fair with people. And so I consider it an opportunity for me to get in front of them before somebody less honest than me gets in front of them. But in this case, I really want to make sure that we address this and solve their problems before somebody else can get in here and maybe tell them something untrue. Make them make a poor business decision, which, you know, they've already got a strike one. They've got their LLC in their personal name. That's no good. 69222277.
Please leave your message for 46922232277.
Yes, hi, I'm looking for Mr. Patel about this duplex in Dallas on La Prada Drive. If you would, please give me a call back. Curious to know if you're still planning on selling that property. My phone number is 817-600-2077. Again, 817-600-2077. Thanks, look forward to hearing from you. Bye-bye. Yeah, so this was just a gutted house that was in the middle of being turned into a duplex, and they just didn't get that far with it. So, expired this morning. I'm going to keep trying and see if I can find another number for them. 69.
The subscriber you have dialed is not in.
That's not the one. Got them on mute. While I'm calling these numbers and all that kind of stuff, you know, I kind of like making this a spectator sport, but do leave me comments. Let me know how we can make this a little bit more pleasurable for you to watch, or if you have any questions for me about how I'm finding these leads, who I'm calling, who I'm choosing to call on any particular day. Drop it in the comments. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Always helps the channel a little bit to get a little bit more bolstered activity on there. Now, really not doing this for the subscriptions or the views or anything like that. Mostly doing it so my guys can... Ooh.
Hello, this is Charlotte. Your line.
Nope. Wasn't looking for Charlotte, but that's okay. Move on to the next one. Like I said, I'm mostly recording these so that my guys have some opportunity to come in here and learn from what I'm doing and see that I'm putting in the work also. I wouldn't wouldn't ask them to do anything I'm not going to do myself. So I'm going to get in here. We're going to make some phone calls. We're going to do some deals today. I feel it. There's at least one deal on the books here. So I've got here's another one in Oak Cliff. Love Oak Cliff. That's my hood. They were on the market for 152 days. That's a pretty significant price drop. Now, 2001 build in Oak Cliff is not the easiest thing in the world to find, so this is attractive. They probably didn't sell the first time around for any number of reasons, but pricing poorly from the beginning is one of the worst things that you can do as a seller on the MLS. As a real estate agent or realtor, when you're talking to sellers and they have this grand idea of what their home's worth and they want to try for the moon, and if it doesn't work, drop the price, it's the wrong advice. You want to price ahead of the market. If you price lower, if you price more competitively, you're going to drive interest and traffic up. And in return, you're likely going to accomplish your goal. But buyers are trained. This last decade of seller's market does not leave buyers in a position where they feel like they can confidently go in and win a house for less than the asking price. So if you price wrong from the beginning, you won't get lowball offers, you just won't get any offers. So price it right, do it right from the beginning. Don't take a listing that they're telling you, hey, we want to try for the moon, because when it doesn't sell, they're going to come back and look at you and say, why didn't you recommend that we price it lower from the beginning? We did. So let's try this. What do we got next? There's a good chance this is a Spanish lead, just based on the name and the area. So if I switch to Spanish, I apologize to everyone who's non-Spanish speaking. Maybe one day I'll get some closed captioning.
Hello?
Yes, hi, am I speaking with Ms. Garcia?
Yeah, this is she.
Hi, Mrs. Garcia. My name's Chris. I'm calling you about the house that you had for sale on Tristan Court in Dallas.
Yes.
It's coming up today showing that it's expired. Are you guys still planning on selling that property?
Is this by you already?
As of this morning, yes, ma'am.
Oh, I don't see it. Yes, I'm still interested to sell it.
Okay. Well, just so you know, I am a licensed realtor, but I'm actually reaching out to you more interested as a buyer. I'd kind of be interested in buying this property from you. Would you be open to working like a cash deal where I pay all the closing costs and just buy it from you as is?
How much is for the same price I have in the market, or a different price?
It really depends. So, you know, all I know about it is what I'm seeing online and on the MLS. I'm looking through the pictures right now. So ideally, I would come take a look at the property, just kind of put some eyes on it. You know, pictures don't always tell us the whole story. Do you have a price in mind? I know you guys had it listed at $325. Did you know what you were going to walk away with after commissions and closing costs and everything?
At the beginning it was 340, but
Yep.
I think so. I changed it for anybody wants for less price.
Right.
But I don't see nothing about.
Yeah. And no sé si usted prefiere, yo también hablo español, no sé cuál es mejor para usted, pero...
Oh yes, I prefer more Spanish. Sí, mejor.
Ok, si es mejor en español, podemos hablar en español. Sí, pues como quiera se dependen como la calidad de la propiedad, si necesita o exige algunas reparaciones o updates o algo así. Entonces, tengo opciones. O sea, no quiero darte una oferta que es demasiado bajo, que no puedes aceptar porque necesitas, no sé. A ver, empezamos como esto. ¿Qué son sus metas? ¿Están tratando de vender esta para comprar algo más o qué es la meta?
No, estoy en proceso de divorcio.
Disculpe, ok, entiendo. Entonces,
No hay problema.
pues en este caso yo también digo, pues felicitaciones, mejor.
Exacto.
Entonces, ¿en qué tanto de tiempo están pensando venderlas? ¿Tienen algún pues horario o están pensando de la meta venderla antes del verano?
Me gustaría venderla después de abril. Tengo un evento en abril de mi hija.
Ok,
Y no me gustaría, son a finales de abril.
ok.
No me gustaría estar en el proceso de cierre y el evento.
Claro.
Entonces, sí, ahorita sí ya
sí me gustaría después de, pues posiblemente ya a principios de mayo,
Ok.
sí salir con eso, porque sí me urge salir de esto.
Ok, entonces si pudiéramos cerrar al inicio de mayo o al principio de mayo y alcanzar la meta financiera que ustedes quieran, ¿estarían de acuerdo a venderla a mí o algo como mí, a ver las opciones a lo mejor?
Si nos da una buena suma,
Sí, claro.
obviamente que sí, porque pues obviamente en el divorcio nos estamos yendo a la mitad cada uno.
Ok,
Entonces sí quiero tener, por lo menos mínimo, yo sí quiero más de $100,000 para
ok.
mí.
Para
Y
ti,
igual,
entonces cada uno.
para él.
Sí, claro.
Porque pues obviamente también debemos, hay una cantidad de $40,000 que aún se le debe al banco.
Ok,
Y aparte pues los cierres de costo, me imagino, y todo ese rollo.
claro.
Entonces no quiero quedarme menos de esa cantidad.
Entiendo. Ok, entonces están pensando ya no menos de 240 después de todo, después de todos los costos, comisiones y todo. Ustedes quieren pagar el préstamo y salir cada uno con $100,000.
Sí.
Ok. Creo que yo sí puedo alcanzar a lo mejor ya cerca a ese meta, pero primero quisiera venir a ver la casa, a ver cómo lo podemos arreglar, si es necesario, cómo lo puedo usar como inversión. ¿Estarían disponibles a que yo venga a la casa como más tarde hoy o mañana?
Vamos a ver, hoy que tengo, no sé si sería más conveniente mañana.
Sí, claro.
Porque hoy tengo una actividad con mi hija y
Ok.
y salgo un poquito tarde.
Ok, está bien. Yo puedo venir mañana y solo para avisarle, como ustedes, su contrato con su agente se expiró hoy. Me imagino que esta no va a ser la última llamada que vas a recibir. Entonces, solo para avisarle que yo no soy el último, van a ser más. Pero podemos poner aquí en el horario una cita para mañana. Yo vengo a la casa a hablar con todas las opciones. Al final, mi trabajo no es de convencerla a vender la casa por un descuento si no les conviene. Mi trabajo o mi obligación es darte todas las opciones que ustedes necesitan para tomar una buena decisión para ustedes, que les conviene y que les vaya bien, ¿ok? Pero, ¿a qué hora mañana estará bien para ustedes?
Estaría bien como a las 6, no sé si es ya muy tarde para usted.
No, las 6 está bien. Ok, entonces planeamos por las 6 mañana. ¿Y tienen una dirección electrónica que le pueda mandar mi información?
Sí, es G,
Ok.
B de bebé, Garcia@gmail.com.
Garcia@gmail. A ver, para asegurar que lo tengo bien. G.
Yes, can you open the gate, please? Thank you, have a good day. Sí, perdón.
No, está bien. G como García, U, B como bebé, E, García, @gmail.com.
Es correcto.
Ok, muy bien. ¿Y esto es un celular que le puedo mandar un mensaje?
Sí.
Ok. Y como antes mi nombre es Chris, yo le voy a mandar mi información ahorita cuando salimos del teléfono y también tenemos la cita para las 6 mañana. Y yo también en la mañana te mando un aviso que vengo, ¿ok?
Está bien, Chris.
Ok, muchísimas gracias, señora García. Entonces hablamos pronto y nos vemos mañana.
Ok, gracias, igualmente, buen día.
Igualmente, chao. Hey, first appointment. Hey, told you. Love expires. So, in this case, she was on the market for $325, originally $340, going through divorce. That sucks. Keep looking over here because this is my other screen. The camera's right here. Going through divorce, that sucks. They owe about 40 on the house. They both want to walk away with 100. So with closing costs and everything, they do a little bit better than that right now if they were to sell at $325. But that didn't happen. They were on the market for almost 6 months. So it tells me right there they're probably overpriced. So worst case scenario, we're going to pick this up, adjust some numbers, and make it to where they're a little bit more competitively priced, see if we can still get them their goals. Or worst case, I'll buy it from them. And we can either look at it creatively, work on getting them each $100,000. That's their goal. They want to make $100,000 each, pay off their loan. So roughly $240 in net at $325. I mean, their net right now is probably like right at $300. So Granted, they didn't get that price. So really they have goals far below what their attempt was, and they're approaching their divorce date. Really the only caveat she had was she wants to stay in the house until, early May, which is doable. That's a little over 30 days. So this is a good lead. Go ahead and make a note here. Got her email, got her phone number, and I'm meeting her at 6 p.m. tomorrow. 7. I've just had so much luck in Oak Cliff. It's nice out there. Or rather, it's getting nicer out there, is what I meant to say. First appointment set. Let's see if I can set 5 appointments today. That'd be awesome. Too many, more than I can take in a week, but that's what I got a team for. Next. Ooh, I skip the townhomes. I'm sure they're nice. It's just not my cup of tea. If you like cookies, why get crackers? Oh, this one's interesting. This one has only been on the market for 4 days. And again, we're just going through expired listings. These are properties that, especially in that case just now, she didn't know that she was expired. She was surprised to hear that she expired and letting her know, yeah, this morning, as of this morning, at midnight, you're an expired listing. Your agent agreement is no more. You are a free agent. Check this one out. So these guys were only on the market for 4 days. They expired this morning. Nice house up in Collin County, so North Dallas. Again, I try and skip Collin County. Not because I don't like it up there, not because it's not a good market. I just don't like driving up there. I'm in Arlington, so the closer I can stay to Arlington, the better. But deal's a deal. Okay. So they actually had this listed back in September of last year. This might be an example of a house where they had it on the market, poor time of year, or less than ideal time of year. And they're trying again, or want to try again, in the spring. So let's give them a call. Let's see what we can find out. Loading. Load faster. I know I'm chewing up a lot of bandwidth to stream at the same time, so I'm gonna have to get a hard Ethernet cable. Clear it up. Ooh, I got a dead person on title. It explains why we're in this position. Oh, bummer. It looks like he died right after they listed it. Is that what's going on? Okay. I like to break rules, but there's a rule I'm breaking right now. I'm going into analysis paralysis, but I'm just gonna look up this guy's obituary and see when he died. Because I pulled up one of their names. Yep. Oh, okay, so he died in 2020. So it looks like we're dealing with the misses. How sad. Like I mentioned on yesterday's live stream, man, 4 things cause real estate transactions to happen regardless of market conditions. Doesn't matter what the banks are doing, doesn't matter what interest rates are doing, what buyers are doing. Somebody dies, somebody's born, somebody gets married, somebody gets divorced. So last call was a divorce, appointment set on the divorce, and unfortunately in this case it looks like we're gonna talk to somebody who is going through a loss right now. Fortunately, but not fortunately, passed in 2020. So it doesn't look like they're necessarily in a desperate position to sell. We're not calling them immediately after the death of their loved one, so that's good. We want to make sure that we're sensitive to people and never want to be a disturbance or anything like that. But I like to handle these pretty delicately and not make too many assumptions. I'm only looking at what I think is relevant to know before I make the call. It's nice to know some information, but you don't need to know everything. Most of what you need to know, you're going to learn by calling, having a genuine conversation, coming from curiosity, and just asking, hey, what's the plan? What were you trying to do? What are your goals? For those of you who don't speak Spanish, you probably heard me say meta a couple of times on that last call in Spanish. It literally means goal. I was asking her, what are your goals? What are you trying to accomplish? It's not about what I'm trying to accomplish. I want to know what you're trying to do, and then we're going to see how close I can get to that. If I can accomplish your goals for you, match made in heaven. The stars have aligned. Sorry. Here's a daily tracking sheet where I keep my notes, track how many calls I'm making. It's just good information to know. What you measure improves. Keep looking over there. I need to stop doing that. I'm gonna move this little screen. This one.
Hey, this is Beverly. Leave your name and number and I'll call you back.
That's who I'm looking for. Hi Beverly, my name's Chris. I'm calling you about your property there on Midrose Trail. I noticed you tried to sell it back in September and it's showing up today as an expired listing, and I just wanted to touch base with you and see what your plans were. I might be your buyer. I am interested in this house. If you don't mind, just give me a call back when you have some free time. My phone number is 817-600-2077. Again, that's 817-600-2077. Thanks, look forward to hearing from you. Bye-bye. Okay. Again, Beverly's who we were looking for. So, on to the next. Ooh. Ugly photos, man. Hire good agents. Hire professional agents. Ask for their portfolio. A lot of people go in there and talk a big game, but ask them to show you some of their previous listings. If you're going to hire somebody to represent you in the sale of probably one of your biggest assets that you're selling, just look for reputation. Look for someone who has a good track record. Again, one of these days I'll figure out how to turn you around and let you see my screen, because it's not pretty. These are not good. These are not good pictures. It looks like they had old cell phone photos that they took a picture of the screen, and those are the pictures that they used to advertise this listing. And I bet you the sellers and the agent are scratching their head saying, "I wonder why it didn't sell." Oh, lovely. They even included a picture of Dallas Love Field, because that has anything to do with the house at all. It's close to the airport. You're in Dallas, close to all the airports. All right, let's see what we got here. 13 minutes to Dallas Love Field. 300 days on market. I think we're going to end up with another unfortunately deceased person on title. So just so you guys know, this property is maybe worth 210, 225,000 on its best day. Well marketed, dressed up and pretty. They had it on the market originally at 240. 304 days on market later, they're listed at 198.9, and that's just still too high. Price it right from the beginning. Agents, realtors, price it right from the beginning. It doesn't make sense to overprice. You're not doing anybody any favors. You're not doing favors for your client. You're not doing favors for yourself. Price right from the beginning. Well, let's see if we can find this gentleman, Mr. Martha. I think I mentioned on yesterday, this actually helps. If you were just sit in my office and watch me lead gen, this is a lot of what I'm doing, is just like talking to myself and asking myself all the hypothetical questions I wish I could ask the sellers who aren't sitting right here in front of me and the real estate agents. Like, what were you thinking? And to be fair, I love all realtors. I love all real estate agents. This is not an easy thing that we do. There's varying levels of skill, of education, and everything else that you'll find. So that's when I complain, that's mostly what I'm complaining about. I'm mostly complaining about the agents that don't live up to their full potential, don't get their sales skills to a point where they can adequately service people who really need their help, really need their sales skills to be on par. Just get your stuff together, do what you're supposed to do, provide an awesome service, give value to people. Oh, sweet. This seller has some serious charges against him. Uh-oh. Probably not going to want to meet with this gentleman in person. At least not without a gun. Speaking of things that are difficult about being a real estate agent. You meet all walks of life. Nothing good or bad about it. But some walks of life are dangerous. This is a good example of that.
Please leave your message for
Hey Robert, my name's Chris. I'm calling you about this house that you had on the market as of yesterday, 1906 Life Avenue. Just curious to know if you're still planning on selling it. I am interested in it. I would more than likely be your buyer in this instance. If you don't mind, give me a call back when you can. My phone number is 817-600-2077. Again, that's 817-600-2077. Thanks. Look forward to hearing from you. Bye-bye. Yeah, these people originally listed back in May of last year. Great time to list. That market was on fire. Went under contract in 6 days, fell out pretty quickly thereafter. They have not been able to. They haven't been able to get it back under contract since then. So almost a year later. So maybe at the time they priced decently for what the market was doing. I bet you they didn't have a comp that supported that value, but there was probably enough interest to get a buyer at least interested under contract. But I don't know about you, but 808 square feet in a really crappy part of Dallas, built in 45, I'm not paying $240,000 for that. Not many people would. So, but we have a confirmed phone number. I'm going to go ahead and text him as well real quick. This is the extra trick. So if they don't answer, and you know it's them, leave a voicemail. And sometimes, depending on who you're dealing with and how old you are, or how old the person you're trying to get in touch with is, always helps to say like, hey, I just left you a voicemail. Hey, Robert. I just left you a voicemail. I'm interested in your house. Life Avenue. Extra trick, if you, like me, have been doing this for a while and your number comes up as spam, just because so many people have gotten tired of you reaching out to them and calling them, when you text them, make sure you say, hey, my name is, and tell them your name. And most smartphones now are registering that, and instead of showing up as spam likely, it'll probably say maybe, and then whatever name you sent them. And again, I don't end up on spam likely lists because I'm spamming anybody. I'm ending up on spam likely lists because I'm making phone calls for a living. I'm actively reaching out to people via cell phone. And in a lot of instances, people look at that and assume that I am a call center or I'm not really a real person sitting here in Arlington. They think I'm a scammer or a spammer of something of the like, which is fine. I get a lot of those spam and scam calls all the time too. So I report numbers as spam all the time. But if for whatever reason you find yourself in the unfortunate position that your number is registered as spam when people call, just send a text message. Introduce yourself. Say, hey, I'm Chris, or Jeff, or Steve, or Susan, or whatever your name is, and that'll at least offset that problem a little bit for you. Hey Robert, it's Chris. Just left your voicemail. Also, I'm interested in your house on Life Avenue. Boom. Oh, give me a call when you can. I'm hoping some of these people call me back while I'm on the live stream. I got a couple callbacks yesterday from my live stream yesterday, and I was a little bummed that it happened after the buzzer. So it's always nice to be able to put them on live so I can go back and watch them, see what I did wrong. Ooh, $1 million expired in Douglasville, Texas. Not my area. Norris Fairfield. Or Flint. It's a nice house though. So what I'm doing is I'm basically just combing through the new expireds as of this morning. There were 42 of them. I'm on number 20. Out of those 20, I think it's like 5. So in a neighborhood, I've sold houses before. I'm actually selling one in this neighborhood right now. Love Park Glen. Shout out to my clients, Jordan and Giovanna. owner of Texas Fungus. Great people, buying a house in Park Glen right now. Couldn't be happier. Love Keller ISD. Okay. Ooh. Sorry, getting distracted by the stock market a little bit. Wells Fargo's crashing. Good for me, bad for Wells Fargo. If you have money in Wells Fargo. Ooh. Sorry, okay. I'm done being distracted. Back to the leads. If anybody's wondering what it takes to be a good salesperson, it's extreme ADD is what it is. That's all you need. Some really bad case of adult ADHD, great salesperson is what it ends up translating into. Oh, and there goes my bandwidth again. Slow Wi-Fi. I'll have this figured out by the end of the week, I'm sure. Okay. Good. No analysis paralysis, just checking, making sure they still own this house. They do. They listed it originally in February. Decided to pull it off the market. When did they do that? Oh, just a couple weeks ago. And now it's showing up as expired. So they had only given their agent, looks like a 30-day contract to try and get it sold and then gave up before that. So that tells me there's probably more to this story than what I'm being able to interpret. So let's give them a call. Let's look them up. Man, it really kills me when I look up these numbers and there's just so much criminal history. It really is such a shame, guys. Follow the law. I'm not preaching or anything. I've been known to bend the law once or twice, but just be responsible. Be responsible adults. For those of you who may or may not know me personally, this is exactly how goofy I am in person, so.
Please leave your message for 72740076670.
Yes, hi, I'm sorry, my name's Chris. I was reaching out to you about the house on Arcadia Trail. I might be your buyer in this case. I'm interested in that property. If you would give me a call back when you can, my phone number is 817-600-2077. Again, that's 817-600-2077. Thanks, look forward to hearing from you. Bye-bye. So again, I tell people I might be their buyer because I might be their buyer. That's really what I'm calling for. If I could like choose the way I did real estate from now on, I wouldn't represent clients anymore. I love my clients. I love representing clients, but it's much easier to represent myself in transactions than it is to represent other people. And again, not because I don't enjoy it, but just because it's easier. It's easier to represent myself. I'm very acutely aware what I need in a deal. What other people need, I'm good at fighting for it. Why fight?
The service you are attempting to use has been restricted.
Yeah. And one of the other things is we're kind of getting into the time of day. It seems early, but I promise you there were people calling these leads an hour and a half ago, maybe even earlier. So there are some people who turned the phone off and done all kinds of things. Word to the wise though, if you have your house listed on the market, don't let it expire. If you don't want to get a ton of phone calls, don't let your house expire.
Please leave your message for 72725987730.
voicemail in those instances. I try not to leave too many. Well, looks like this one's going up to, I'm gonna chalk this one up to the game. I don't believe that this person's gonna answer my calls. Ah, there's one more mobile phone number on this record. Let's try. Let's try. Can't say we didn't try. Oh man, I swear I'm going blind, guys.
Your call has been forwarded to an automatic voice message system. 58024211184 is not available.
All right. That does it. On to the next. It's alright, I like this part of Fort Worth and this price point way better. 15 days on the market and they held it. What happened here? So much of what I do for a living is like PI work. It's like detective work at the beginning, trying to track them down, figure out what's going on, see if I can get in touch with them. To me, that's fun. I think it creeps my friends out sometimes because they'll tell me stories about something that's going on. I'm like, oh, do you have their phone number? I'll look them up real quick. Okay. Again, all I'm doing when I pull up this listing is I'm wanting to see three things. Do they still own it? When did they buy it? How much do they owe on it? From there, that gives me just about enough information to just pick them up and call them. In this case, they bought it in 07. Ooh, no, they bought it in 96. They got a loan on it in 2007 for $56,000. They were on the market for $172 for 15 days. Marketing to investors only, cash only, house is being sold as is. Sounds like money. Let's call them. Let's call them. Now the biggest problem here is we're looking for a Mr. Jose Vargas. There's a lot of Jose Vargases in the world. Bless you! My dad sneezed in the next room over. Again, for those of you who don't know, I run a real estate company that my dad owns and operates. So I work with my dad. I think that's pretty cool. I think what's really cool is I used to say I worked for my dad. I think technically I still do, because he's my broker. But I love him. He's a good business partner. Bless my chops a lot though. 6, 8, 9, 5, 5, 5. A number that ends with 4 5s. That's gotta be fake.
Your call has been forwarded to an automatic voice message.
Quick little double tap.
Your call has been forwarded to an
That phone's off. Let me try the next one. Seems like a fake number. Yeah, this is a nasty house. Little thing, 1,400 square feet.
Your call has been forwarded to an automatic voice message system. 817-688-6883 is not available. At the tone, please record your message. When you have finished recording, you may hang up or press 1 for more options.
Yes, hi, my name's Chris. I'm calling about the property on Northeast 36th Street in Fort Worth. I am interested in that property. If you would give me a call back, just curious to know what your plans are for it. My phone number is 817-600-2077. Again, that's 817-600-2077. Thanks, look forward to hearing from you. Bye-bye. It's pretty far away from my face, I hope they heard that. Oh well. On to the next. Getting distracted by my stock account again. Gotta stop doing that. Stop it. Look away. Alright. 7, 6, 6, 8. So this record turned up 9 different phone numbers 5 of them are cell phones. So we're gonna try as many of them as I feel like trying before we move on to the next lead. I like this house though, so normally the ones that are interesting, like this one, they're motivated, they don't owe a lot on it, house is in bad shape, they're already trying to sell it for a discount.
I'm sorry, the person you are trying to reach has a voicemail box that has not been set up yet. Please try your call again later. Goodbye.
I'll try a little bit harder for the ones that interest me, especially in areas that I like.
Your call has been forwarded to an automatic voice message system. 81777380003 is not available. At the tone,
So another little trick that I like to use is if I don't get answers, but I'm pretty confident one of these is the right phone number, I'll go and I'll text hello and then the name. So in this case, I'm looking for Jose. So I'll say, hi, Jose, with a question mark. Just as a little feeler. You know, I'm texting 5 numbers, so I imagine of those 5, 4 of them are going to text me back and say, nope, wrong number. But I only need one of them to text me back and say that that's the right number. Only takes one. And this is the reality of it. I mean, this is really what marketing looks like, so I hope this doesn't offend too many people. This is what I do on a daily basis, and we help a lot of families. So it may seem unpleasant, it may seem intrusive. I'm not the only one doing it, but I'm arguably probably some of these people's best options. Of all the people that are making these types of phone calls, doing this kind of work in this line of business, very few people hold themselves to any level or any like professional standard or integrity or honesty in the investment world. Realtors, that's a different story. Most of us are pretty honest, pretty ethical. Now, it's hard to completely lump an entire group of people and say they're all honest people. Most of us are. We have really good reputations, and we tend to have good reputations because we have the Board of Realtors, we have the National Association of Realtors at our back telling us like, hey, you have a standard to uphold. Fortunately, on the investment side, there is no standard. The standard is buy as many houses as you can, be as ruthless as you can, and only be as honest as you need to be. And in this case, I prefer to be as honest as possible, and that tends to help. Hey, got a text back. Hola, ¿qué tal? Got another Spanish lead. Looks like Mr. Vargas. Estuve llamando por la propiedad en Northeast 36. Está. Need an accent. Está disponible. I need to polish up my Spanish. I felt that on that last Spanish call. You take it for granted, but if you don't use it, you can lose it some. I don't like sounding unintelligent. So now I'm engaged in a text message conversation with this lead that didn't answer, that I went through and texted hello Jose. In this case, I got a response on the first number I called that looked fake. I'm guessing it's a business line. It's coming up as a cell phone, but the last 4 numbers are 5555. So if that was my number, I would open up like a whole new sales business just around that phone number. It's so easy. Or a law firm, right? Like dial 817 blah 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 5555. Too much stuff in my pockets. So I'm just on Tylenol these days. I took the pain medicines. Took the pain medicine they gave me after my surgery for 2 days. Technically 3 because I caved and took one on the 3rd day. They gave me 10 days worth of wasn't gonna do that. I don't like pain medicine at all. It doesn't make me feel good. But straight Tylenol doesn't really do the trick either. So I just feel like pain medicine all it does is it makes you forget about the pain, but you still feel it. It's still there. In this case, there is no forgetting about it. Okay, so he texted back and said he's finishing the repairs on it. Ah, okay, so that makes sense. So they had it on the market as is. I'm guessing they didn't get offers that they liked. So they did some repairs. When did they hold it? So he held it off the market. I don't think you can see it in the camera. My eye's twitching up a storm, I swear. It's just losing the sight in that eye. It'd be a big bummer. Okay, yeah, so they listed in December, pulled it off the market in January. Technically, the listing didn't expire until March. Again, 90-day listing period. I mean, that should be plenty of time, but we sign all of our listing agreements for at least 6 months, just because you never know. Stuff happens, and we really try and keep our listings from going expired. Not because we want to keep as many listings on the board as possible. We do, but that's not the main goal. The main goal is to keep our clients from getting harassed by people trying to sell it. Some big market moves going on right now, so that's distracting me also. I'm gonna call Mr. Vargas again.
Your call has been forwarded.
Ooh, interesting. So he can text me, but the phone goes straight to voicemail. There he is. Hello.
Yes, sir.
Hey, José.
Sí.
Hola, ¿qué tal, José? Te estuve texteando sobre esta propiedad. Entonces, ¿ya lo están arreglando? ¿Están pensando ponerlo ya en el mercado después de arreglarlo o qué es el plan?
Sí, estoy para hacer unas reparaciones y después que termine la voy a poner en el estado. Pero si alguien me la compra,
¿Cómo es?
así como está ahorita, puedo parar y venderla, no hay problema.
Ok, pues estoy interesado, sí, quisiera comprarla así como es. Si quieres parar qué estás haciendo en la propiedad, ¿está disponible a mostrármela hoy?
Sí,
Ok. ¿Cuándo estaría disponible?
hoy sería a las 3 de la tarde.
A las 3, ok. Yo puedo venir a las 3. Ok, déjame apuntar aquí rapidito para que no olvido. ¿Y qué le falta? O sea, yo veo las fotos desde diciembre, pero ¿qué ha hecho ya en ese tiempo?
Bueno, ya le puse nuevo roof de 30 años.
Ok, wow.
Arreglé adentro los Chiroc.
Ok,
Arreglé plomería, parte de la plomería. Arreglé los pisos, estaban rompidos, la cocina, el floors, como es Pyramid,
ajá,
¿verdad?
ok.
Ya lo reparé.
¿Le tocó alguna fundación o algo a reparar?
No, era nada más de que se mojó.
Ajá.
Se mojó la madera y se dañó.
Ah, ok, entonces lo tuviste que cambiar.
Sí, tuve que cambiar, pero ahí se puede mirar porque todavía no pongo el siding.
Ok,
Lámina,
ajá.
ando cambiando también siding por detrás, ando arreglándola. Usted puede mirar cuando vaya.
Ok, y para que usted sepa, yo soy también un agente, pero estoy interesado como un inversionista. Yo quisiera comprarla como es, yo cubro todos los costos, no te cobro ninguna comisión ni nada de eso. Entonces, ojalá que podamos alcanzar un acuerdo que le conviene a los otros dos, pero como quiera. Esto es un celular que te puedo mandar mensajes, ¿no? Donde,
Sí, es lo único que tengo.
lo único que tienes, ok.
Es lo que uso para todo.
Ok, muy bien. Entonces aquí te apunto y aquí te tengo a las 3. Te mando un aviso cuando estoy en camino, pero como quiera nosotros nos vamos a las 3. ¿Está bien?
Está bien, Perdón, se me olvidó su nombre.
Sí, mi nombre es Christopher. Si quiere, cuando nosotros colgamos, yo te mando mi información sobre el text message, o si no, si tienes una dirección electrónica, te puedo mandar mi información
Está bien por texto.
por texto. Ok, muy bien. Entonces ya, y también vengo con un contrato en mano, ojalá que podamos alcanzar un acuerdo.
Bien,
Ok.
me parece.
Ok, muy bien. Gracias, señor Vargas. Entonces nos vemos a las 3.
Ok, bye.
Hey, appointment number 2. Meeting this guy at 3. He did a little bit of work to it. Actually, did a lot of work to it. So he replaced the roof, did some plumbing work. I lost track because I was just excited. He was like, "Yeah, if someone will just buy it from me the way it is, I'm not going to put it back on the market. I don't want to mess with all that." But he's done some work to it, so maybe we'll be able to make a win-win situation with this. Meeting him today at 3. So can't remember. I think that puts me at 7 calls or 7 dials, 2 conversations. Nice. Hey, what's going on, Michael? Yeah, thanks, man. I feel okay. In a little bit of pain, but I feel okay. Not a wuss. Gotta stay hard, man. Gotta stay hard. What's a little bit of pain? Just a little bit of discomfort. Gotta stay working. Cool. 2 appointments for the day. Both Spanish-speaking leads. That's the way to do it, man. If you don't speak Spanish, you should learn. If you're in Texas and you don't speak Spanish, you should learn. There's a lot of Spanish-speaking people, and most of them speak good English. But if someone came up to you and asked you to speak your second language and have a business conversation, you're not going to be too comfortable either. When you're talking to people and you're in sales, if you have the ability and you have the opportunity to speak to someone in their mother tongue, take it. It's going to help. Worst case scenario, you build a little bit of rapport, a little bit of credibility, and say, "Hey, thanks for trying. Your Spanish sucks, but I appreciate you trying for me." I've got my guys trying to teach me a little bit of Mandarin, and I haven't been practicing at all. So my Mandarin sucks. I wouldn't even try. Say hello, thank you, please, where's the bathroom, all that kind of stuff. That's about it. All right. This one's 151 days on market. Oh, I know this listing agent. Sorry you didn't get it sold. I'm gonna call your lead. Let's see what they got. And for the record, I always appreciate, even in those cases where like I end up buying or selling a house that another agent partner or something like that had listed before me, a lot of times I'll just call them and say, "Hey, thank you. This is what we ended up getting done." And seeing if I can be an asset to them in the future. But I love my agent friends. I love my realtor community. Awesome, awesome people. If you're thinking about getting into real estate, even all my guys, I've got a couple of guys on my team that came into it without really the intention of getting licensed. It's just so valuable. Being a part of the realtor community, if you want to be in real estate, if you want to do anything real estate related, it's just so incredibly valuable to have that resource, have those people behind you. So get your real estate license. It's a good idea. Unless you have another thing that you're really good at, in which case focus on that. Never want to abandon plan A for plan B. I learned that lesson the hard way. Because I did it a lot. As I'm looking this up, just so you guys know, my early years in real estate, I was also a bartender, which was helpful. It's nice to know people, but really what I was doing is I was spending too much time on my plan B. It was just so easy to walk into the bar, work a few hours, albeit late hours, walk out with a couple $100s in my pocket, get paid instantaneously. Felt great. Kind of makes you an addict though. I was addicted to making money on the spot. So when you transition into the real world or something like commission-only sales, it can be one heck of a conversion. Interesting. So this particular person looks to come up with a Pennsylvania address, but this house is in Fort Worth. Did they move? When did they move? What are our addresses? He just moved. That explains why he's selling his house in Fort Worth. Let's give him a call. Just want to make sure I took all my appropriate notes for that last one.
item 267975912 is not available. At the tone, please record your message. When you have finished recording, you may hang up or press 1 for more options.
Yes, hi, my name is Chris. I'm looking for Luis about this house here on Foxcraft Drive in Fort Worth. I am interested in this property. I just might be your buyer. If you don't mind giving me a call back when you can, my phone number is 817-600-2077. Again, that's 817-600-2077. Thanks, look forward to hearing from you. Bye-bye. Now, for my realtors that are watching, or anybody in real estate or sales that's noticing, I'm really not leaning in too hard to being a realtor when I'm calling these people. I'm not telling them, hey, I want to list your house. Expireds especially, because expireds, what have they been trying to do? They've been trying to sell. They were listed with a realtor before. So even though realtors tend to have a good reputation, they probably don't have a good idea of what realtors are capable of in this exact moment. Because they were on the market with a realtor. In this case, this realtor did a great job. Great photography. House was a little cluttered. Looks like, as far as the seller could have done more to prepare his house for the market, but that's not exactly on the agent. Agents give good advice, but sellers don't always follow it. But other than that, this is a good looking listing. My only feedback on something like this would be, let's see, their original list price was $390 and they never changed their price in 151 days. That's a long time. So again, I'm not putting that on the listing agent. We don't know their story or what was going on between them and their seller, but it could very well have been that the seller was unwilling to drop their price. And in my opinion, 151 days on market and you aren't getting what you're looking for, it's the market telling you that your price is too high. So I got one more phone record for this person. We're going to try it after I text that number and just say, hello, Luis. Try this other phone number.
Welcome to Verizon Wireless. Your call cannot be completed.
That wasn't the one. That first number was the right number, but unfortunately he didn't answer. So send him a little text message and see what that does. On to the next lead. So you can tell I'm slowing down a little bit because I'm in the F's. I sort them by city, so I'm in the middle of Fort Worth right now. So this is the 24th of 42 expired listings in DFW this morning. This one was a for sale by owner, actually, that they had listed with like a listing service. So you can pay a flat fee and just list it straight in the MLS. For whatever reason, those houses don't do well because they're not getting, all they're paying for and all you're getting is just the MLS access. You could put your for sale by owner in the MLS, but you're not getting any pricing recommendations. You're not getting access to comps. You're not getting any consultation or advice. So you're kind of left to the wolves on the MLS. And I'll tell you, if you're going against seasoned agents who know what they're doing, know how to price, know how to market, that MLS access, it's a big up. It helps, but it's not everything. There's more to it. There's levels to this. In this case, they were listed originally at $399.9, 305 days ago. Wow. So they paid a flat fee, probably something to the tune of like $500 to list in the MLS and have nothing to show for it a year later. That's taxes, insurance, more than likely interest. Let's look. Let's see if they owe a mortgage on this property. I'm just going to throw my hands up because it's been sitting vacant, looks like this whole time. I know it sounds like I'm talking trash, and it's because I'm going through expired listings. I'm going through properties that tried to sell and failed. So there's a failure here. It's implicit. It's part of what we're looking at here. So I just want to make sure, they bought it and they had it as a rental property. It doesn't look like they've had it leased. It's been sitting vacant this whole time. And they do. They have a mortgage on it. So they've been paying a mortgage on it for 300 days because they wanted to save 6% or 3% or whatever it is that they were planning on paying. They wanted to save that commission and use a listing service. So they paid a flat fee that they had to pay, whether they sold it or not, right? To save a little bit of money, and ended up paying almost a year's worth of taxes, insurance, and interest that probably far exceeded what they should have paid or would have paid if they just hired a listing agent from the beginning and paid traditional commissions. Now, that's just a little bit of a thought experiment for those of you guys who are considering going for sale by owner. What's the real cost benefit? How much money are you really saving? And is it worth it in the end? Let's find out. I think I'm gonna ask him that same exact question. I think I'm literally gonna ask him, hey, was it worth it? Would you do that again? And not to speak poorly of some of these listing services. There are some people who are very experienced, know what they're doing, use these listing services to great profit. It's just, if what you're doing is trying to save a buck and you don't know what you're doing and you think that you can get away with just listing on the MLS and that's gonna do all of the work for you, this doesn't even apply for sale by owners. If you're an agent and you're thinking just putting something in the MLS is gonna sell it, I'm sorry, you're wrong. There's more to it. There's more to marketing. There's more to strategically pricing. Getting text messages from my family. Love it. So, found him. He's not living in this house, but he lives close by. Let's see what the deal is. I keep saying MLS. If you don't know, the MLS stands for the Multiple Listing Service. In this case, we're in North Texas, so what we're using is called Netris. Netris is the North Texas Real Estate Information Services, and the MLS tool that we use is called Matrix. So Netris is the parent data source, and then the tool itself that we call the MLS is called Matrix. So you'll never hear me call it Matrix because it's just colloquially referred to as the MLS.
Hello, this is Lance.
Hi Lance, my name's Chris. I'm calling you about this house that you had for sale on Avenel Way.
Yeah, you got a showing that you want to come and show?
I actually was curious to know if I could take a look at it for myself. I wasn't sure if you were still planning on selling it. It showed up as an expired this morning.
That was an accident, but
Okay.
I control that listing anyway.
Yes, sir.
So I can either sell it as a listing or we can remove it. It doesn't matter.
Okay. Well, full disclosure, I am a licensed realtor, but that's not why I'm calling you. I'm calling because I'm actually interested in buying this one from you. Just what are your plans with it?
Yeah, we're going to sell it.
You are going to sell it? Okay. Was this a rental property or something, or?
It's one of our rentals, yeah.
Okay.
We're actually selling all of our rentals. I've got three that are just like that for sale right now. One other one's in the neighborhood, and then one's up in Jefferson.
Could I buy all three of them?
Yeah, you can buy all three of them. They're all, the thing is, we're retiring and we're moving to West Texas. We bought a ranch and we're just starting to wind everything down.
Gotcha.
We've got a business over in Roanoke and we're talking about either selling it or moving it. So we're kind of, this real estate stuff's just kind of on the side.
Sure.
And, but all three of them have been great rentals. I've got, if you're an investor,
Yep.
I do a spreadsheet where I look at properties, and these three are home runs when it comes to, they're about 14 or 15% return after taxes.
Wow.
And there's just nothing out there
That does that.
That's applied.
Sure.
That can do that.
Yeah.
So they've been wonderful, and all of the houses are in great shape. Roofs were replaced in 2019 on all three.
Wow.
The Avenel, that one's got real plantation shutters throughout the home.
Wow. That's not cheap.
About a $20,000 feature.
Yeah. No kidding. Wow.
My wife, that's why she fell in love with that little house when we bought it.
Sure.
Just for a rental.
Yeah.
And small backyard, small yard on that one.
That's okay.
But it's in a great neighborhood.
Sure.
If you're not familiar with Beechwood Creeks, it's the one that
I
has
am.
the big swimming pool,
Yeah.
a clubhouse, a workout center. So, anyways, but yeah, I've
Okay.
got email.
Yeah.
Send me over email, and I'll send you all the addresses so that you can start looking at them and do
That'd be
your
great.
own analysis.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
My email is lancerankin6229@gmail.com.
Lance Rankin 6229.
@gmail.com.
Got it.
And so in all three of those, I control the listing.
Sure.
We've got them listed with a little MLS provider that I can cancel at any time, and they don't get anything. So
Sure.
if we decide to sell these off market, I can easily cancel those listings.
Okay.
And just sell them. Use a title company. And
Sure.
it'll be fine.
And you've been around the block once or twice, it sounds, so I don't have to tell you, if I buy it from you, I'm covering all the closing costs, all that kind of stuff. We're just working with nets. Even though I'm licensed, I'm not taking a commission or anything like that.
Yep.
Just what are you, just out of curiosity, what are you doing with this money when you sell it? Are you going to reinvest it, or were you planning on just hanging on to it as a nest egg?
No, we bought a ranch out in West Texas.
Oh, okay. So you're going to dump it into the ranch?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
We're building out the ranch and
Awesome.
doing things with it. We're planning to breed and train horses, all that stuff. My daughter's a professional barrel racer. She's a rodeo queen.
Sure.
So, anyways, that's kind of her avenue in business, and we're just wanting to create a place out there. So we bought over a 100-acre ranch.
Wow. Hey, can I buy that from you? No, I'm just kidding. That there.
We've been out there excavating.
Good for you.
Dozers and excavators, and that's what's been taking a lot of our time. It's just been out there on machines. And
Okay.
we've got about 70% of the trees cleared. So yeah, we've been working on it since last July, I think.
Wow. Okay. So this is kind of like you're trying to get it all culminated and done, right? But you're still right in the middle of it.
We've got 2 or 3 years before we're gonna sell our home and move. So that'll be another house that it's in that neighborhood.
Okay.
But the three that I've got for sale are all 3-2s, perfect
Perfect.
little rental houses. Right now in our neighborhood, I would think about $21.95 is what you're going to get.
Sure.
For
I agree with that.
for the Avenel Way and for the 2812, the one on Maple Creek. So
Okay.
those are both in that neighborhood.
Sure.
And the one up in Justin, you might get that amount. It's pretty close to the same market as what it is in Beechwood. It doesn't have the pool or the clubhouse. They don't have amenities like that, but it still is Northwest ISD. So
That's what was going to be my next question. How close is it to the Texas Motor Speedway?
pretty close.
Yeah.
Just go north of 156, and it's up there at Justin.
Have you ever used it as like an Airbnb or a short-term rental or anything like that?
No, we never have.
Okay.
It's always just been a rental.
Sure.
And, that one we seem to get the most calls on. And
Right.
It's probably the best house that I have is the one there in Justin.
I'd agree with you.
It's a good one. So
Yeah.
that's the one that's gotten the most activity while we've had it listed. And,
Sure.
people asking to rent it. I'm like, no, I just want to sell it. So,
Yeah.
But yeah, but that's pretty much it. But yeah, just send me over an email and then I'll
Sure.
reply and give you all those addresses. So
Okay.
you can look at them.
Yeah, and we'll pick up this conversation again here after I get a chance to look at everything. But just, I am kind of curious. Why not keep these? Why not, pull a HELOC or pull equity out and keep them as rentals?
If you knew how many irons I've got in the fire,
Fair enough.
I own businesses. I own a business down in Costa Rica where we build homes.
Cool.
Listen, man, I've got so many things going on that this was a hobby of mine
Yeah.
that just kept on and on and on, and we've just been selling them off over the last few years.
Sure.
And now we're down to I think these final 3 are the rentals, and then our house. So
Okay.
we've done good over
Yeah.
the last few years off, and just kind of whittle them down, and so now these are the final 3. And right now they're all 3 vacant.
Yeah.
I've had some people asking about renting, and we've just kind of been holding off because I really would like to sell them and
Not be a landlord anymore?
yeah, not be their landlord. The thing is, they've all been good.
Yeah.
We've had long-term repairs.
Sure.
We've not had, other than the roofs, but that was a storm that came through, and it got everybody.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, that's part of it. That happens.
Oh, yeah. So we did that. I think 2019, July or August of 2019 is when I think we did 5 all at one time.
Did you get hit at all by the storm on the 16th?
No.
No, okay. That's awesome.
Nobody around our area.
Good. Well, one of the reasons why I asked was just because there's a couple of different ways I buy properties. The one that everybody's most common with is I'll just buy it with cash. I'll go get it. We've got capital partners that we pay 10% to, and we just buy and refinance when it makes sense. But there's a lot of folks that lean into if this was still a cash flowing asset for you and you didn't have to be a landlord, didn't have to do any work, would you consider an owner finance structure and keeping it cash flowing? No. Okay.
Yeah, I'm not. I don't think I'm interested in some kind of a weird deal where I've got other people involved and all that. No, I just want to do a regular title closing and then let somebody else, do whatever they want to do.
Okay, yeah, no worries. It's just an option I like to bring up. It's typically the way I can pay a little bit more, but yeah, no, we'll cross that bridge when we get there. I'll take a look at these three, and hopefully I'm your buyer for all three of them. Maybe four if you're not.
All right. Thanks so much.
Nope.
We'll talk to you later.
Sounds good, Lance. I appreciate you. I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye. Ooh, 3, 4, 1. Love it. Love the 3 for 1 specials. So why do we call expired listings? That's why. Some people have one house that they need to sell. Some people have 3 houses they need to sell. It sounds like if I caught this guy a year or two ago, I probably would have bought like 6 properties from him. Before I forget, I'm going to go ahead and email him. I want to go ahead and take down his information. And it may seem redundant to people. Some people might be shaking their heads at me for using the pen and paper and taking actual physical notes. It helps my brain. Although I'm not trusting my brain to remember, really, everything that I just had a conversation with that gentleman about, what I'm doing is I'm just writing it down, and I'm going to go input these notes later, and it forces me to fill in the gaps. It forces me to think back on our conversation a little bit. And what that does is it gives me at least a little bit of wiggle room when it comes time to call him again, follow up. I've looked at the 3 properties. I want to start talking numbers with him. I can think back and at least somewhat clearly remember our conversation. Now, I'm not obligating myself to remembering that conversation, but I can at least somewhat remember it. So let's see here. And again, this is the danger of opening up your email while you're in the middle of lead gen, is you get distracted, because sure enough, I open up my email and there's a little reminder I have to go in here and sign a contract. Okay, I'll go sign it real fast, and then I have to send this email, and then we're on to the next. Might actually put you guys on a brief little hold while I go use the facilities. I'm here drinking water, so it's getting me. Stay hydrated, super important. Doop, doop, doop. Select style. Perfect. Adopt and sign. And the poor gal, I think we're just giving her a heart attack because we haven't gotten the funds over to the title company yet, because we're switching hard money lenders up on them a little bit, and she's sweating. She's like, "Are you guys really going to close?" Yes, we're going to close. We're legit. We buy houses. Promise. We're not dishonest. We're going to do what we said we were going to do. But that just kind of gives you an idea of how rampant dishonesty and untrustworthiness is in the investment world. That, first deal you do with a new wholesaler, until you close that deal, man, they just aren't sure if you're legit or not. They don't know if you're yanking their chain or what. Deal with the same thing when it comes to talking to sellers. Fortunately, I have a pretty solid reputation and background, good reviews. People can look me up and say, okay, yeah, this guy's really doing what he says he's going to do. But there's plenty of folks that get real concerned about whether or not we're legit until they get paid. And then when they get paid, everybody breathes. They're like happy and relaxed and saying, okay, good. I'm glad that was for real. But it looks like I'm going to pick up 3 rental properties from this guy. So there we go. Good morning, Lance. Pleasure speaking with you. Let me know which properties you're looking to sell. All 3. Give you fair offer. Thanks. Send. Cool. Now I don't have to remember that. It's already done. Has 3 properties. He even said it on the phone call. We were talking about it as I was looking him up. He used a listing service. He paid them. He knows he paid them fortunately, this guy's made good money on these rental properties all this time, so he didn't really mind having it vacant for a year, not making any money off of it, paying taxes, insurance, interest, all that jazz. Because it's a hobby for him. This guy's loaded. He's got plenty of other businesses. He's building houses down in Costa Rica. You know, regularly I get questions all the time like, why would somebody sell their house at a discount? Well, because, you know, at the end of the day, the house is worth what they're willing to sell it for and what I'm willing to buy it for. So discount is relative. Relative what they could get for it, if they did it right, listed with an agent, put it on the MLS, listed appropriately, marketed the absolute crap out of it, yes, they're taking a discount. But by the time everything's said and done, closing costs, commissions, repairs, it's not as much of a discount as you would think. I should almost turn my phone over. Here we go. Garland. Garland market is really interesting. Oh, before we do this, I'm gonna go use the bathroom real quick. Be right back. I'm back. Oh, that hurt. Jesus. Oh. I saw stars there for a second. I gotta remind myself that I just had surgery on Wednesday. My body and my mind are just like, you're not hurt anymore. Go back to normal. You're all fixed up. I'm not fixed up. You ever felt pain so bad that it makes you almost feel like you're gonna throw up for a second? That just happened to me. That just happened to me. All right, now we're in the G's. I'm only on listing 25 of 42 that have expired. It looks like I've made, it says 8, but I'm not really keeping track of that as well as I think I should. 8 calls, 3 conversations. And it's taken me an hour and a half. Probably do this for another hour and a half. And that makes up 2 to 3 hours of my day every day, or it should. So if you're trying to get into sales and you're wondering why it's not working, and you look at the clock and realize that you only make phone calls for 30 minutes a day, max, maybe 30 minutes a week, that's why you're not selling any houses. Is it crazy fun? I think it is. I think it's really exciting. It's fun finding these deals. It's like fishing. It's like sometimes you get something really big on the hook, sometimes it's a little trash fish. Either way, you're reeling something in and that's always fun. But if you're a crap fisherman, everything, it's gonna suck. If you only spend 30 minutes out there and you give up, and you only go once a week, you can't blame the conditions. You gotta blame yourself. You're not doing what it takes. So if you want to get good at this and you want to do what it takes, give me a call. We're happy to talk you through it, and I'm going to tell you exactly what you need to hear, not what you want to hear. Get on the phones, talk to more people, ask good questions, try and find ways that you can provide value and solve problems for people. And sometimes when you solve their problems, they'll help you solve yours. It's a Zig Ziglar quote. You can get everything you want out of life by helping as many people they want out of life. Live by that. And I think I'm just sensitive to people being taken advantage of, so I'm always careful. I always like to ask myself, like, hey, is this potentially a situation where I could be construed as taking advantage of this person? So typically I'll just ask them, like, hey, how do you feel? Are you happy with this deal? Is this going through the way you wanted it to? Are you going to be content if we can make all these things happen? I call it the magic wand. If we can wave a magic wand and get you where you wanted to be by the time you wanted to be there, and hit all your goals and solve all your problems along the way, are you happy? Does that mean that they're getting the best possible deal? Not always, but that's not what most people are looking for. Some people are looking for the best possible deal, and for those people we have other options. But a lot of folks, what they're looking for is they're looking to accomplish their goals and solve their problems. So as long as you're helping people accomplish their goals and solve their problems, you're doing the Lord's work as far as I'm concerned. So we're gonna look these folks up. Mr. and Mrs. Serrano. Again, only thing I'm making sure is, do they still own it? Looks like it. When did they buy it? Long time ago. Ooh, after the 2008 crash, they actually bought it out of foreclosure. Looky there. And they owned it back in 2007, they owed $93,000. So I'm gonna guess that they probably have this very close to paid off, which is exciting because they bought it for cheap, and they're trying to sell it for $380. That was too high, which I think they know, especially because the house does need a little bit of work. Stop getting distracted by your phone. But overall, that looks good. Let's give them a call. Picture of a bad-looking house. It's just Garland. The Garland market is weird. It doesn't do what you would expect it to. It's not one of those areas where you can look at comps and just expect your house to behave exactly like the comps do. I'm gonna cough, and this is gonna hurt, and I'm probably gonna throw up. Oh, Jesus. Hernia surgery sucks. My surgeon was awesome, though. Thanks, Ivan. Alright, let's give him a call. Man, my eyes water. 692549540. Nope.
The one.
Nope. Let's try the next one. 6925496.
Please leave your message for 46925495336.
Yes, hi, my name's Chris. I'm calling about the house that you had for sale on Brookview Drive. I'm just curious to know if you're still interested in selling that property. I might be your buyer. If you don't mind, give me a call back when you can. My phone number is 817-600-2077. Again, that's 817-600-2077. Thanks, look forward to hearing from you. Bye-bye. Now, some of you may be wondering how we buy all these houses. And the answer is, we don't buy all of them. I like to buy as many as I can. And a lot of times what we're doing is we're seeking out some type of private capital or hard money. You know, hard money is where we go get basically a short-term loan, interest only. Got a few different hard money lenders that we work with. Got one in particular that we're trying out right now. They're helping us close the deal on Friday. And, you know, it's really about being able to find the capital and make the deal structured that regardless of how much we're paying for the money that we're borrowing, the deal is still profitable. So ultimately that just kind of comes into crunching numbers. If you crunch numbers and the deal still works, I'm still getting enough of a discount that I can make a profitable situation out of the purchase, then in theory, as long as I'm keeping that capital, that money accountable to itself, I have unlimited buying potential. Now, with that said, there are some deals that we buy because we see the potential, because the sellers need to sell, they have goals that we can help them accomplish, and they're not a good fit for the MLS for one reason or another. Got one, for example, where the daughter is selling as power of attorney for dad. Dad's pretty much on like life's house. The house is in extremely extreme disrepair. I mean, it needs to be almost leveled. And they had a number. They just had, we got a number, we're trying to hit it. Do we know we can make more? Sure. Do we want to go through all the trouble that we're going to need to go through to make more? No. So in their situation, they were a prime example of someone that, like, that house we probably wouldn't buy. It's just not a project that's in our scope that we try and get houses that need little to no major rehab, meaning, like, you know, we're not going in and re-pouring foundation or ripping up whole wings of the house. Like, we're trying to keep things relatively minimal. I mean, the most I'll do is like fix a messed up pool. Like, those are, you know, foundation, cool. Roof, fine. Replace an HVAC system, not a problem. Level a house to the ground and rebuild from the ground up, I don't like doing that. Mostly because I just don't have the connections to do it. But I know people who do. And so in those situations, what I do is I help them make their goal. I will contract the property for the price that they want to get and go and find my connection that I know will still buy that deal, make sure to honor all the promises that I made to the seller, and give me a cut on top as a thank you for bringing that deal to them. So we found a deal, solved the problem, ran the numbers so that we know that it's still a good deal for them, and then we're able to sell the contract. So we never technically bought that property. It's called wholesale. We flipped the contract. We assigned our interest in the contract to somebody else. Now, most of the time sellers are aware that we're doing that or that we might do that. There's some deals that we have every intention of buying, and then just last minute we get a really good offer on it. It's like, man, we'll make more money just to sell it now than we would to close on it. Sellers typically don't mind, right? As long as we're doing what we said we were going to do and we're getting them the number that they wanted, they know we're buying it for profitable reasons. They know that we're buying it with the intention of making a profit. So there's typically not much concern there. But in reality, we want to buy almost everything that we come across. There's some deals that we'll never take title to.
Hello?
Yes, hi, is this Hector?
No.
No, okay. Am I speaking with Mr. Oh, that was Hector. He lied to me. He hung up. Oh, liar.
Hello?
Hey, I'm so sorry. I just wanted to make sure. Do you know the owner of 437 Brookview Drive?
No?
Okay, I'm trying to buy that property, so I wasn't sure your number came up attached to it, so I just was triple checking. No worries, but I appreciate you taking my call. That was the best number for him. Oh well, that happens. On to the next. Don't sweat it too much. I still have plenty to call. Ooh, and this one's in Grand Prairie. Under 300. Beautiful. Oh, all right. Well, here's an interesting thing. The listing agent is the owner. Why'd they decide not to sell? I have so many questions. And again, I'm breaking a cardinal rule. I'm analyzing, and as such, I am paralyzed by analysis. Oh, and my MLS timed out. So let's open that back up. See, this is what I talk about. This is why you don't do this. You just look up the phone number and call them right away. Ask all your questions on the phone. Don't do what I'm doing. Do as I say, not as I do. Ah, and she already sold it. That's why. When did she sell it? Last week. Good for her. Awesome. I'm always happy when people sell the house that they were trying to sell, especially the ones that expired. It's great news. They accomplished their goal. That's what I'm calling them for. I want to make sure they accomplish their goals. Okay. Here's one in Irving. I like Irving. If you're looking for good Indian food, go to Irving. They have amazing Indian restaurants in Irving. There's a Peruvian restaurant up there I've been dying to try too. All right, this is the townhome. I don't really like the townhomes, but I think I'm gonna call this one anyway. No, I'm not. I don't like townhomes. I bought some townhomes. I've flipped a townhome or two along the way. Just not really my cup of tea. I try and buy things that have like minimal holding costs, especially minimal junk fees. So I don't know. I guess I was raised in Texas too long because I just don't like the idea of an HOA having the ability to foreclose on me if I don't pay them their $200 a month. Not that I wouldn't. I have an incredible payment record. I pay everything I have on time, but I don't like being told that you'll take property from me if I don't pay your HOA due for mowing my grass. I get grass mowed way cheaper than they get it done. So, this is a total remodel. Wow, and the agent was part of the deal. They expired. Move on to the next one. There's an agent involved in the transaction. They're part owner. There's typically not anything I'm going to be able to offer them that they can't solve for themselves. Now, sometimes I can, but really that's, again, not my cup of tea. What I'm looking to do is I'm trying to find homeowners, direct consumers, sellers who are in a bind or have a problem that they need solved and provide them value and try and get their problem solved for them. Now, I do occasionally work with agents. We do occasionally buy deals directly from agents, and that's awesome. But normally if they have equity in the deal, I'm going to leave them to their own device. I'll give them advice, right? I'll give them free advice. But I leave it up to them to solve their own problems. Because they can. They have access to all the same stuff I have access to. This was a really pretty house I'm looking at here. This one's in Mesquite. And I think same thing, they're on the market 111 days. Okay marketing, good. The house itself looks good, but I think their photographer was either, this is the other thing, if you're getting into real estate, don't hire a portrait photographer, a family photographer to do real estate photos. They're vastly different types of photography, different lenses, different styles, different saturation points and things like that. So just because someone has like a nice camera does not mean that they're a real estate photographer. Real estate photography is a very specific type of photography that most regular professional photographers that don't do real estate don't even have the equipment for it. They have to go make an investment. Now, after they get the equipment, the investment, and do some practicing, sure, they can be fine. But, you know, I get a lot of folks that are like, oh, my sister or my cousin or my next door neighbor is a professional photographer. They can take my photos for me. It's $250 in most cases, $250 to $350 for like good professional real estate photography. And it's worth the money, 100%. Whether you're listing for sale by owner or you're listing with an agent or you're an agent yourself, like pay the $250, $350 for professional photography. It's worth the investment. 92 to 95% of people who bought their house in 2022 or 2021, I'm sorry, saw that house online first. So the MLS listing is basically your dating profile. And if you're taking your dating profile pictures like this with your hand in front of your face, you're not going to do really well. It's kind of the same concept. So I say that like I've ever had a dating profile. Me and my wife started dating and got married long before Tinder or whatever they use. Is it Tinder? I don't know, I'm trying to think of what it is that my guy, I've got everybody on my team now is like a young single guy except for my brother. And they're all like actively on dating apps, which is hilarious to me because when I was dating, prior to meeting my gorgeous wife, dating apps were for like old desperate people, like people in their mid 40s who were trying to like give love another chance. Like all that was available was like Match.com. Now it seems like everybody that's young and single and in college, that's all they do is just spend their time on dating apps. It's crazy to me. Go out in the real world, people. Meet people. Okay, good. Just a bunch of traffic violations. One of those earlier, and I won't tell you which one it was, but one of those leads I called earlier, he didn't answer. But like the first 3 charges on his criminal record were like possession and with the intent to distribute cocaine, like a felony weapon charge and an aggravated assault. So I like looked at that, I was like, I don't know, I want to meet this dude in person. Seems like the kind of guy that would make me very scared. I'd probably pee myself like a little girl. This gentleman, on the other hand, just doesn't pay his tolls, and that's okay. Or at least by my standards, that's okay. Oh, Lance got back to me. Sorry, reading an email from that gentleman I spoke to earlier with his 3 properties. Cool. Done responding to that. Now let's call this gentleman. 214.
Your call has been forwarded to an automated voice messaging system. 21456388892 is not available. At the tone, please record your message. When you finish recording, you may hang up or press 1 for more options. To leave a callback number, press 5.
Yes, hi, I'm looking for Mr. Turner. I was curious about this property here on Pittsburgh Landing. I'm might potentially be your buyer for this one. If you don't mind, give me a call back when you can. My phone number is 817-600-2077. Again, that's 817-600-2077. Thanks, look forward to hearing from you. Bye-bye. Do. Just paying attention as I'm talking about shorting banks. It looks like we got a little bit of a dead cat bounce. A bunch of these stocks are actually bouncing back pretty hard today, but it doesn't look like that's going to be the overall expectation of what's going to happen. So we are patiently waiting to see what banks end up doing. Absent of a government bailout, it's not looking great. It's not looking great. Some of these long positions I've got aren't looking too great either. Might have to roll them down the road. So, back to reality.
Please leave your message for 21456388866. Sorry, mailbox is full. To send an SMS notification, press 5.
Doke. On to the next. Again, I probably spent 5-10 minutes longer on that guy than I really should have. I think I only spent 5 minutes on him total. Should have called the first 2 numbers, that's all I got through, and moved on to the next one. I don't call expired new construction. I really try not to call them Louisiana. Our MLS recently expanded in the last year to also include Shreveport as part of our market area. Same deal as North Dallas. Like, can I do a deal out there? Sure. Am I really going to be like in my element? Am I going to be the best possible investor or realtor in that area I possibly can be? No. So I try and avoid it when possible. Plus, just the older I get, the more I hate driving. There's just so many people on the road, and it just always seems like a kind of dangerous thing to get out there and just be in traffic with everybody else. So much stuff, crazy stuff happens. All right, that's it. I looked through all 42 expired. There's 1 canceled on the market today. Ooh, 7. How'd that happen? So there's only 1 canceled, but now I'm showing 7. Gonna look through these real quick, make sure they're not deals I want to call on. Nope. I'm not a luxury agent. And there's a lot of stigma that goes into that. You know, if there's people that I hope don't think less of me because I don't work deals or houses that are worth many millions and millions of dollars, and it's not because I can't because I choose not to. It's a different clientele basis. It's just a different business model. It's a completely different niche. I'm not doing them any favors by trying to break into it, and I'm not doing myself any favors by distracting myself from what I'm good at, what I like doing. So people are good at what they like and like what they're good at. And that's a Game of Thrones quote. Gotta love the Game of Thrones quotes. Looking at this one right here, this is one in Weatherford, trying to get just too good of an idea as to what happened here, because it's actually a beautiful home and a really affordable price point. Pictures kind of suck, but they're really still not even that bad. For Weatherford, they should have sold. So now my question just becomes, why didn't it? Why did it not sell? Was it something the agent did? Was it something the sellers did or didn't do? They canceled it after 45 days. Let's call and find out. Pull it up in tax roll real quick. Same thing, just triple checking they still own it. Triple checking that they... Ooh. It looks like they sold it. Nope, that's them. Cool. They bought it in 2018, so not too terribly long ago. Oh, for a great price. Holy cow. Oh, next to nothing on it. Good for them. Let's call them. Let's see what's going on here. Why didn't you sell this thing? You should have. You should have. Guy's first name is Kelvin. It's awesome. You see Kevin's a lot. I'm hoping that's not a typo, because I think Kelvin's a way cooler name. That's just my physics nerd in me. There you are. Not that one. Or that one. Hello? Hello?
Hello?
Yes, is this Kelvin?
Is that wrong number?
Okay, I was trying to reach the property at 911 at North Rusk. Is that not your house?
Is that wrong number?
Okay, no worries. I don't think that was the wrong number, but that's okay. That is okay.
Oh,
Boop, 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 doop, boop, boop. Just trying to decide whether or not I want to keep calling this guy. Or trying to call him, rather. That wasn't him, or so he says. Which makes sense. It's kind of an interesting area code he had. That area code doesn't match the house or his... Looks like his address history, so... Let's try this one.
Please leave your message for 93930893999.
moving on. Again, I have all these rules that I don't really follow them. I just keep them in my head. It's like if you know what you're supposed to be doing and you know it well enough, you'll stick to it better than most people who just don't know any better. So like I know what I shouldn't be doing, and I do it anyway, but I'm gonna do it for a little while before I remind myself, don't do that, you shouldn't be doing that. Don't look at your phone. Keep making your phone calls. Don't pay attention to your stock account. There's nothing you want to do about it right now. Just wait. Okay, 180 days on market in Fort Worth for under 300 price and for a house in good shape. Same thing. Why didn't it sell? Should have sold. He canceled it, and I know why he canceled it, because he was on the market too long and didn't get the job done. So let's make sure that he didn't sell it. Ooh, it looks like he did. He did. Oh. Yeah. He did. Okay. Good for him. All right, that is all the deals on the expired and canceled for the day. Took me just under 2 hours to do. Got a couple follow-ups that I'll take you guys along for. Got one in particular. Let's see. This particular lead has been in my CRM and my customer relations manager since. Boop. Show more history. Show me how long I've been talking to this guy. I want to tell the people of YouTube. I originally put him in my database, wow, in November of 2021. It is now March of 2023, going on a year and a half later. I've been talking to him from time to time since then. We actually have a pretty good relationship at this point. When we first started talking, we didn't know each other from Adam, and I'm pretty sure he's my buddy now. Never met him in person. He lives in Florida, but he's got a property up the street from mine. And I'm pretty sure he's in town cleaning it out right now. So let's call him and see if he answers, see what's going on.
Good morning.
Good morning, buddy. How are you doing?
Man, I'm doing good. How are you doing? I was wondering about your surgery.
It went well. I'm still in a little bit of pain, but it's not, I did a full day of work yesterday. Yesterday was my first day back in the office, so I'm doing okay. I'm walking around. I'm still a little bandaged up, but they gave me 10 days worth of pain meds, and I stopped taking them after day 3. So.
Good for you. Good for you. I won't ask what you had done.
Oh, I had a hernia surgery. I had a hernia repair.
Oh, did you really?
Yeah. It was kind of I'm a little young for it from what I hear, but I'm guessing it was just something that was bound to happen one way or another. And I trained martial arts and lift weights and all that. Yes.
Now, I have a hernia. Where was yours?
Mine was an umbilical, so it was a belly button hernia.
Yeah, that's what mine is. So how bad is it? How bad is it? I mean,
The surgery itself, I got it done on Wednesday, and I'm walking around. Like, I'm not in excruciating pain. I was exhausted yesterday by like 5 o'clock, sitting in my chair and like not really moving around much. Like, I was pretty winded. I was tired, but not too bad. I'm like I said, I'm talking to you, and I'm up walking around. I went on a couple appointments yesterday, showed like 5 houses yesterday. So, am I doing more than I'm sure my surgeon or my medical staff want me to do? Probably, but I'm fine. I'm on Tylenol only, so I'm doing okay. I would.
is it painful or as far as does it feel like there's a foreign object in your body or anything?
No, that was actually a concern that I didn't even I had, but I didn't even think to bring up to my surgeon. So he took some really cool pictures for me because my surgeon was actually a buddy of mine. I actually trained jiu-jitsu with him, and no, they put a little piece of mesh. They came in through the side, so it was completely laparoscopic. I have 3 little incisions on my side that they glued shut, so I don't have any exterior stitches. They didn't cut open my belly button or anything like that. I'm a little bit bruised, but it does not feel like, what I do feel is I feel tenderness around my belly button because they put stitches on the inside to hold that mesh into place that are going to dissolve. It doesn't feel like I have anything foreign there. It just feels like I have like an internal laceration right there that when I like cough or sneeze or try and use the restroom, I do kind of feel like I have to support it. But I can like put my hand on my belly and like push in pretty hard and not feel like there's anything there. So overall, I'm pretty happy. I'm he told me I'm 6 weeks from being like fully released to go back to like normal weightlifting and all that kind of stuff. I'm not even a week in and I'm able to like walk and talk and breathe and use the restroom. So I'm pretty happy.
Is that a day surgery or is that a?
Oh yeah, my surgery. So like I was sitting in, they wanted me to get there by 9:30, right, to like fill out all the paperwork. The nurses didn't come, load me up with the good stuff until about 11 o'clock, and I was home by 2:30.
Wow.
Yeah, so I mean it was pretty quick. Like, did I spend a whole day there? Yeah, but like most of that was just me waiting around for them to get me all prepped for surgery. Like I said, and I woke up. I've had like other stuff where they've put me under, never really like surgery, but I've gotten put under for like wisdom teeth and stuff like that. And I was groggy for the entire day. I was actually pretty alert when I woke up. Now I'm still going back and finding conversations that I was having that I don't really remember, but I was clear-headed. Like I've lost some of my memory from that day, but I was pretty clear-headed. I was able to walk out to my car. Granted, they didn't let me. They still made me sit in a wheelchair the whole way out, but I could have walked to my car. It was pretty mild. I would say modern technology. It was, they did a pretty good job on me. I'm overall very happy with it.
Interesting. I was hoping I could get mine to go away.
Yeah, that doesn't work. Turns out they don't do that. Hernias are one of those things that they don't heal themselves. So once it's there, the only fix for it is surgery, I've learned.
Yeah, when I was, when the boys were little, one of them, I was playing around with and he jumped in the middle of my abdomen
Yup.
and I wasn't ready for it.
Sure.
And I remember the day vividly. She said, I felt the pop.
Yikes.
And then over a period of years, it's just, gotten worse.
Yep. Yeah, as they tend to. So mine was, I trained jujitsu, which is grappling, and I actually had a 200 and, he says he's 210. I think he's like 225. Guy put his knee right on the center of my abdomen and just dig all of his weight into it. And this guy's much more advanced than I am, so I was trying my darndest to get him off of me, and I just couldn't. I ended up tapping out just because he was putting so much pressure on my abdomen. It was hurting. And it wasn't until after the fact I realized, like, oh, that's why it hurt so bad, because it gave me a freaking hernia. So, that apparently it's one of those things that like you're born with a little weak spot. If you got it, it means that you're probably born with that little weak spot, and just all you needed was the right set of circumstances to kind of make it happen. So,
Right.
but yeah, I mean, I'm walking around. They still have me like bandaged up. I've got like this like abdominal band that they have me put on just to kind of keep me all sucked in. And he wants me to wear that until my checkup at 2 weeks, but it's not uncomfortable. It doesn't really bother me. Only thing that's really uncomfortable is like when I cough or sneeze. That kind of sucks.
Right.
But other than that, yeah, I mean, like I said, that was Wednesday. It's Tuesday, so I'm not even a week in, and like overall my pain level's like maybe a 1 or a 2. Like I can talk to you. I'm not doubled over or anything like that. Only thing I find is being in mild discomfort all day just saps the absolute energy out of you. But that's what was going on before the surgery. So I'm kind of back to, a week later, and I'm better than I was before. So
Good for you, man. I'm glad for you that you had it done. I need
do it.
to get around to it eventually.
Yeah, it's not getting any better on you. The one thing that he did tell me was I kind of addressed it earlier than I think most people tend to. I think most people tend to do what you do and just kind of let it sit there for a while and hope it goes away. The only thing he warned me about was like doing that, you do potentially run the risk that like one day it's going to like constrict on you, and you're just going to it's going to like tie off some of your bowels, and that can potentially get infected and all that kind of stuff, and that can be life-threatening. Otherwise, it's pretty safe. It's not like really, really low risk surgery, typically a low risk issue. So I'd recommend getting it done sooner than later, because I'm going on vacation with my family. We're going down to my dad's beach house for Easter weekend. We're actually coming down to your neck of the woods. It's Gulf Shore, so we're just on the other side of the Florida-Alabama line. And we're going down there on Easter, and I'm trying to catch the Pompano run. So I need to be able to at least pull in a 2 or 3 pound pompano if I want to.
Exactly. In fact, I just stopped at the new Buc-ee's right there in Foley, and man, they were packed.
Oh, I hate that Buc-ee's. We don't even try it anymore. That place is insane because it's the tourist stop for everybody.
Oh my God, you'd think that they've never seen a gas station before.
It's insane. And you know, we're from Texas, so I love Buc-ee's. We used to,
Yeah.
like the first time we went there, I was like, hey, they got a Buc-ee's here. This is great. I'll never stop there again. It's not worth it.
Man, I'm not kidding you. I swear to God, there were 2,000 people there.
It's insane. It's insane. It's and you're probably right lining up with all like the spring breakers and all that kind of stuff too. But like, it's a tourist trap. Of all the places to be a tourist trap in Alabama, like I would never go there again. It's such a huge pain. But so you're back in Florida then, huh?
Yeah, I had to head back. I've got a project that came about, and I was actually just a couple of days away from really finishing things I wanted to, but
Had to cut it short.
yeah, I had to cut it short for
Bummer.
about a few days and head back. I guess I'm going to try to come back maybe in the next week or 10 days. We'll see.
Okay.
But got the majority of it done. It was a huge project, and the house, it's definitely a full renovation. It's
Yeah.
it's going to need new subflooring,
Oh yikes. Okay. So
new
it
kitchen.
yeah, it did that then, huh? Was it a little bit of a shocker seeing it after this time, or?
Yeah, no, it was a big job. So again, there's no. In fact, we pulled up the carpet in the front room and in the bedrooms. It's got linoleum down, or it's not.
Oh yikes. Okay.
It needs new subflooring throughout, in my opinion.
Okay, that's pretty extensive.
Yeah. So it's a pier and beam foundation, so I don't know how extensive that would be, but
It shouldn't be. I mean, like bad pier and beam foundation jobs I've come across are like in the realm of like 5,000 to 8,000, which is like where mid-range to low-end foundation jobs are for slabs. So, that I'm hoping that property probably doesn't need much in the way of adjustment, but it could. I mean, some of those houses have moved, especially if the subfloor has been rotting. That can kind of translate some adverse stress into your piers, into your beams, and then those beams can kind of play around on your piers. So it might be that your piers are just fine, but your beams have warped a little bit, so you need to come and adjust those to keep them from moving the house too
yeah,
much.
you told me before that was a couple of grand on one of your projects.
Yeah, they're typically pretty cheap. As far as pier and beam foundations go, like that's not the end of the world. That's kind of one of the benefits of these pier and beam foundations is that like as far as what makes them so cheap is that you don't have to tunnel near as much or as bad, right? Like you're typically tunneling a couple of feet just to get under the little concrete footer. And then from there's no tunneling required. You just have open access.
Right.
If you just can't even just get in, if we're pulling up the subfloors, even better, then we don't have to do any tunneling at all. It's just right there. Most of the work that comes with, most of the cost that comes from slab foundations is the tunneling. That's like, 65% of the job is just how expensive it is to tunnel.
Yeah, no, if I'm renovating it, I'm taking up all the floors and putting all new subfloor.
That's probably what we would do. If the subfloors are gone, man, there's nothing. That's just a ticking time bomb. It's just going to get worse. It's going to attract termites. You're looking at active decay.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
So that's that. The walls are in decent shape, but again, at that point, I don't know what the cost would be, but I would probably
re-sheetrock.
taking it down to the studs.
Yeah. Sheetrock's all over the place. Recently, it's been a little bit more stable, but it's still pretty expensive. I think I recently re-sheetrocked a whole house, and it ended up costing me somewhere to the tune of like $6,000 in materials. So, like it can be, depending on how much sheetrock you really need to take down. If you're taking the sheetrock down off the attic or off the ceiling as well, yeah, that can get up there. Finding good sheetrock installers is also kind of a struggle. I've got one guy that I really like, and he's talented with tape and bed, and his float and texture is okay. It's a solid B+, which is passable. So that's kind of the biggest issue you run into in sheetrock is like you might get somebody who's really talented at tape it in bed, and they get all the sheetrock up and it looks great, but then they go float and texture it and it's gummy and thick and it just doesn't look good. And the last thing that you want to do is start from scratch, sand it down or anything like that, because you just paid all that money in materials anyway. So I've had one of those nasty surprises, and I learned my lesson. So yeah, well, I'm still interested in that one. I know we've had conversations all over the map on what you wanted to do with it, but it's still in my neighborhood, so that still has my interest peaked. I'd love to be able to work something out that serves us both.
Yeah, I'll tell you, I've had, I don't know, probably 8 or 10 people stop and want,
Oh, sure. Right there? I'm sure you did, yeah.
I mean, I didn't let any of them, I basically told them the same, that I wasn't ready to show it or anything like that.
Sure.
So I didn't give anybody any access, at this time. But the numbers. I'm assuming your numbers are probably still what they were, right?
I mean, I can run them again. It really just kind of comes down to, I try to look at the last 90 days worth of comparable data. So that's really kind of what we're looking for, is just, what is the last 90 days telling us? Because that tends to be just the trajectory of today, especially with like what's been going on with banks over the last couple of weeks. We just like to pay attention to how that relates to the real estate market. Because the last thing I want to do is buy something off of data from last year. Last year to today is they're just completely different markets. So
I had another guy tell me though that really the interest rates for that area are not really affecting it like it would maybe some of the higher end homes and that kind of thing.
Well, yeah, the higher end homes are who get hit first. Sorry, I've got some just texted me. Yeah, the higher end homes are